Welcome back to the show. I've got a special treat for you. We've crossed over the river to this side of Ascension Parish, and here we are in Donaldsonville, Louisiana, and I am actually standing in front of one of the only 4-room wooden schools left in the United States. It's right here in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. It was a Julius Rosenwald School, and we are going to talk with Kathy Hambrick Jackson, the executive director of the River Road African American Museum. And Kathy's going to tell us who Julius Rosenwald was and who Booker T. Washington was, and a special event that is coming up on June 8th here in Donaldsonville that you just don't want to miss. So let's take a look over at the River Road African American Museum and go meet Miss Kathy and hear some amazing stories.
So the church is actually on Homus Street and Opelousas Street here in Donaldsonville, the actual church. And it was built in 1867.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's the Methodist Church.
The Methodist Church.
Okay.
And it actually was Dr. Laurie's church also, that Laurie Middle School, yeah, named after. This was his church. This was Dr. Brazier's church. So the doctors belonged to this church, and the first black mayor was the founder of this church. So Mr. Harry has actually sent us, I think now I have 9 buildings. So as we go through the museum, you will see some of the other buildings that he has done for us over the years, including the schoolhouse where our program is going to be on June 8th.
Okay.
So Jenny, this is another building that building model that was done by Mr. Harry Kahn, and he is a native of Donaldsonville, but now he lives in Georgia. And it seems for the past 3 years he's been sending me these models of buildings that he remembers, that he has photographs of when he grew up here in town. So this is the True Friends Benevolent Association Hall. It was built in 1886. The museum owns this building, and benevolent societies or associations provided insurance for African Americans after emancipation. So people would pay like $0.25 a month to this little society or club. You get a little book, and usually it was the mother who made sure that, you know, through the money that came through the cookie jar, that the insurance was paid for every family member, and you could take the book to the pharmacy, to the funeral home, to the midwife, or to the doctor, and it was a form of HMO, really.
Wow.
Insurance for African Americans. This is where they would have their meetings and where they would have their Mardi Gras balls and their debutante balls. So the pictures that you see on the wall here are actually pictures of some of the dances and balls that they would have at the True Friends Hall.
Wow.
And it's here in Donaldsonville.
One thing that I notice here that you have marked is that it was used as a school.
Yes, yes.
Tell me about that.
Upstairs, the upstairs part of the building, there's one room upstairs, and it was actually used as a classroom. Well, when children come here or visitors come here from Japan, Germany, Australia, when I say, do you know the Pink Panther music? Everybody knows Pink Panther. So the Pink Panther music, the saxophone player is a man named Plas Johnson, who played his first gig at the True Friends Hall when he was 15 years old.
Wow.
So when you hear the cartoon or the movie, just know that that's someone who's a native of Donaldsonville.
Oh, I love that. Gives me chills. That's wonderful.
Yes, yes, yes.
This is a wonderful design, and it just brings it to life for us and lets us see what it really looks like.
And I say too that this was like the original House of Blues.
Oh,
you know
yeah,
how the
that's
House
what it sounds
You know,
like.
the House of Blues tried to reconstruct this old music hall. Well, this was not only a place of business for entrepreneurs and political meetings and social events, but it was also used as a school. And the man that you see here is L.L. Fernandez. He was one of the barbers that operated one of the barber shops
Wow.
on this side. And we found this picture upstairs behind a door. Now,
Wow,
L.L. Fernandez was born in 1845. So you can imagine, you know, how old this picture might be. And it was,
Look at the quality of it.
that's the original frame.
It's in such excellent condition.
Yes.
Despite the humidity and the weather here.
Hurricanes.
Right, right.
So you think
Oh, my
also,
goodness.
you think also about the architecture and the construction of the original buildings that are made out of cypress on the River Road. How many hurricanes, possibly tornadoes, floods, these buildings have survived all of the weather, and we actually have artifacts that have survived, you know, over 100 years in some of these buildings.
Wow, amazing.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing that with us.
Yes.
Well, I know that we are so excited about the event coming up on June 8th to celebrate education. What a powerful thing education is, especially for our young people. And what a great event to honor two people who truly just brought an amazing gift to so many. And just to read 5,300 schools in, was it 15 southern states?
5,300 schools in 15 southern states built because of the vision of these two great Americans.
My goodness. Well, let's go into the next room and we can
Yes.
start talking about them.
Okay.
Okay.
At Peak Performance Physical Therapy, we treat the athlete in everyone, from the soccer star to the soccer mom. If your doctor prescribes physical therapy, ask for Peak Performance by name, getting you back in the game of life.
At ETEL, we believe that providing great service starts with a single customer, you. Because we believe our success comes from having happy customers, which is why every ETEL employee is dedicated to providing the best service possible. We believe the more you learn about our services, the more you'll enjoy them. So give us a call and experience better service today from your friendly local communications provider, ETEL.
Here in another room inside of the River Road African American Museum. And Kathy, I'm so excited to see another building done by the so very talented Harry Kahn. Tell me about this one.
Well, this one is actually Dr. Lori's medical office, and many people know Dr. Lori because of Lori Middle School, Lori Intermediate School, which was originally called Lori Training School.
Oh, wow.
And this was his medical office, and it actually was right here on the corner of Charles Street and Railroad Avenue, where our Jazz Plaza is currently, but it's a shotgun house. And it's only 3 rooms. So there was a waiting room in the front, his examining room, then a back room for his office with a little bathroom. And this building now sits in Louisiana Square, right at 300 Railroad Avenue in front of the Ascension Parish Courthouse.
Wow. Amazing.
So shotgun houses, Donaldsonville has the second largest inventory of shotgun buildings outside of New Orleans. And Donaldsonville also is the second largest historic district outside of New Orleans in the state of Louisiana.
Wow. Amazing. And I do know Donaldsonville was once the state capital. Was it
Yes.
the first state capital?
It was actually, let's see, the first capital was Natchitoches, then New Orleans, then Donaldsonville.
Okay.
And I think Opelousas is right in there, close behind Donaldsonville. But
Yeah.
yes, we were the state capital in 1830 for about a year.
That is so neat. And again, the people that really laid the foundation for the education of people from Donaldsonville. It's just outstanding. So tell me a little bit about Booker T. Washington and Mr. Rosenwald and what's coming up June 8th.
Well, Booker T. Washington was, oh goodness, the preeminent educator of the early 1900s. He became the president of Tuskegee Institute in Tuskegee, Alabama, and he became friends with Julius Rosenwald, who was one of the presidents of Sears, Roebuck and Company.
Wow.
And as Mr. Washington was trying to raise money for Tuskegee Institute, he realized that there was a need for schools in rural areas that could prepare black children who lived on farms and mostly in poverty to be able to get to some of these institutions of higher learning like Tuskegee. And so he appealed to Mr. Rosenwald to come up with a foundation to support the building of these schools.
So June 8th, you were going to have a big celebration, and you have some very special guests coming. Tell us about that.
We have the great-granddaughter of Booker T. Washington. Her name is Miss Robin Washington Banks, coming, and she will be introduced for the first time to Julius Rosenwald's grandson, Mr. William Hess of New Orleans. Wow. So they are both very excited about meeting each other, and she will also be our special guest speaker, and Mr. Hess certainly will be able to also shed some light on his grandfather's life.
And there's also an opportunity for people to help to finish the building due to, you were telling me a little bit about the obstacles. Again, like you said, sometimes history does repeat itself, and there's been some obstacles in finishing that building. And
yes.
There's a way for people to help, right?
Oh yes, yes. We are so very happy to have Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority providing us refreshments and help. New Star, which is one of the members of industry in St. James Parish, is going to be helping. I mean, the sheriff's office here in Ascension, the mayor of Donaldsonville, Oliver Joseph, the councilman. There are so many people who have been helping us over the years. But now this is an opportunity for the public to help us finish this 4-room wooden schoolhouse, which is a rare gem here in the state of Louisiana. It doesn't matter what your ethnic background is. I'm sure that many of us have had grandparents who went to school in these old wooden schoolhouses. And so this is an opportunity. If you'd like to buy a brick, if you're a part of industry in this community, you can make a pledge to help us finish the interior of the building.
That's wonderful. And then there's also a brick sale going on
Yes.
as well to lay a special memorial pathway of some bricks too.
Yes, we've sold over 300 bricks right now, and most of the people who have purchased bricks so far are from around the country who have visited the museum. So this will be an opportunity for families if you'd like to buy a brick in the name of a loved one, or if you'd like to buy a brick in the name of a child. This is your opportunity to get a brick, and we will be installing 30 bricks on that day.
Wow, that's wonderful. Well, let's go. We can keep walking and
Yes.
talk a little bit more.
Yes.